Did you know stagnation isn't a real word in Columbus, Ohio? Because we've got so many projects happening here that it doesn't even feel like that's the case. And in this one, we're gonna cover 20 of the biggest projects actually happening in Columbus. Columbus is always growing and new things are coming every single day. From massive multi-billion-dollar projects to new homes here and there, I believe that Columbus is gonna undergo some of the biggest changes we will ever see. And in this one, we're gonna uncover the top 20 biggest projects happening in Columbus, Ohio that I can think of. Let's go. First up, we gotta cover the Merchants Building. This is gonna be a 32-story, nearly $400 million project happening in downtown Columbus. You see, the original cost of this was $200 and something million. It's gone up a lot. But what we're seeing, especially in downtown Columbus as we know it, is a lot of growth. Now, the project is expected to complete in 2026, which means for you, you're gonna have both options to eat, actually sleep, and live and work, and everything else in between. This is a project that I'm super duper excited for. I know a lot of locals are just as excited for it. And listen, if you're thinking about just visiting Columbus, this is the place to go. It's also gonna feature a 162-room hotel room, so you've got some place to stay. But this is a super cool project, especially if you wanna stay in downtown Columbus and you're not really looking to go in other locations. Plus, if you don't have a car, I mean, this is exactly where you want to stay. Now, most of you guys that are reaching out to us, you've got cars, you've got some kind of vehicle and some kind of transportation, so you're chilling. But for those of you that don't, you got this here. By the way, my name is Gagantam Sinat. We partner with the most fantastic real estate agents and mortgage lenders to ultimately help facilitate this move to Columbus, Ohio. If you're thinking about moving here in 9 days, 90 days, or even 9 years, we'd love the opportunity to collaborate and ultimately help you on this journey. All of our contact information is in the description below. Call us now, call us later. Let's get you going. And you know what else is really cool about the Merchants Building? It is going to be Columbus's first official skyscraper in over 30 years. But it's not just that. It's not just the tallest, it's also the newest and probably the best. And again, why is it such a big deal? Well, beyond just its height, this project is a major step towards making downtown Columbus more walkable and vibrant. The expanded North Market will feature new vendors, rooftop dining, and an open-air plaza for community events. This means more local businesses, more jobs, and even better experiences for residents and visitors alike. Plus, combine that with the hotel and everything else, this is the place to be. Now, this next project has gotten every single person in Columbus with an opinion, and here's what I mean. Some people love it, and well, some people hate it. They love the fact that jobs are coming to Columbus, and some people hate the fact that this kind of opportunity is making this home. Anduril is a military defense company, and they're making Columbus home. Let me explain to you a few things that's happening here to tell you why people are up and in arms.
The types of threats that the United States is facing, that our allies around the world are facing, the fact that we are predicted to run out of munitions within the first 8 days of a potential conflict with China mean that we need to hyper-scale our manufacturing of these.
But why Ohio? Was this the only state that could guarantee that timeline?
I think that they were the state that gave us the best shot of hitting that timeline.
Ohio officials announced a $452 million incentive package for Anduril, a cutting-edge defense contractor, bringing about 4,000 jobs and $2 billion in economic boosts to Pickaway County. Here's some key project highlights. 5 million square feet manufacturing facility on a 500-acre lot near the Rickenbacker Airport. 4,000 direct jobs and 4,500 indirect jobs. Completion goals by 2035, and their goal is focused on robotics, drones, and autonomous military tech. And combining with this, there's also more news about Anduril as we know it. One of the biggest things just recently happened, and it's this right here. It's the fact that, well, Anduril just signed a 50-year lease here in Columbus, and that tells me one specific thing. They are here to stay. And in terms of the rent cost, well, it's gonna be a pretty penny. It's gonna be over $500,000 in annual costs. And listen, if you think Anduril is one of the things that's getting a massive uproar, stick around because projects number 6 and 7 are absolutely massive. But here's the thing, people absolutely don't want them. You see, one of the most prominent questions that we get asked for anyone that's moving or thinking about relocating to Columbus is about healthcare and their children. And it makes sense, right? You want to make sure your children are healthy, wealthy, and safe. And let me tell you, these projects here are absolutely helping children grow and facilitate growth. For example, the nationwide children's hospital expansion, well, this is just that. another opportunity for safety and healthcare. Located near Livingston Ave with a combined budget of between $1 to $1.5 billion, this is a cool project. And some of the projects and some of the phasing of the project, well, it's already underway and already open for business. And combining with this too, Ohio and Central Ohio in particularity is already known as a centralized hub for medicine and for a lot of growth in that field as well. And this specific nationwide children's hospital growing here, well, it just makes it a no-brainer. Columbus is already known for its top-tier medical facilities, but the expansion, well, it's a really good thing because number one, it means our children, your children, don't necessarily have to worry about the safety aspect of it, and they can just go ahead and be children. It's a pretty powerful thing. And I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people are actively making this their home, because they know, number one, they can get employment, and number two, their children are taken care of. You know, moving on with that list, this one's going to be the controversial one, especially after Donald Trump's conversation in the, well, State of the Union when he said the CHIPS Act was absolutely stupid. Some people love that, some people hate that. I am just a realtor. But we are going to talk about the Amazon data centers and the Intel data centers in the near future. But right now, let's just focus on Amazon. You see, they have invested in multiple different locations in all of Central Ohio. And it's not just one place, it's here, there, and everywhere else. I'm going to have news articles here so you can see it as we're talking in multiple locations. And the money, well, it is a fat billion. Not just one, not just two, not just three like LeBron.
But we also know you three kings came down here to win championships. Not one, championships.
Not two.
LeBron, tell us about that.
Not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, not seven.
But they're going to have $10 billion invested in this location. But hey, one of the big things about data centers that gets so much controversy and so much hate is this. They're like, it's taking up so much space, it's taking up farmland. But the other caveat is some of them are providing jobs. So there's always going to be a catch-22 for everything. And people in the comment sections are going to say, well, data centers don't provide jobs. And then some are going to say, yes, they do. So it's always got a different perception and a different reality to everything. People either like this or they don't like it. I'm just giving you factual evidence of what's actually happening in the location. I will say this thus far. If you've made it to this far in the video, you know one thing. Columbus is growing faster than we can actually expect. And well, that's kind of a bad thing to a degree. Let me explain. As more and more people actively come to Columbus, Ohio and make it home, well, what's going to happen with the real estate prices? The new home builders, they can't build fast enough. Meaning for you, you're going to have to pay a prettier penny or you're going to have to wait a longer duration. You know, one of the worst things about Columbus is this. It's just not walkable. It's not me who's saying this. It's actually our clients that are coming here from different states. They go, damn, this really isn't walkable. So it's not me who says that. But here's the thing about the walkability aspect of Columbus. They do notice this and they are taking care of it. One of the big projects here that we have to talk about is, well, the LinkUS Mobility Initiative program. And that's going to be the future of transit as we know it. You see, it's going to be an $8 billion project that's rolled out all across the city with expected dates of 2025 all the way up to 2036. Here's what I mean. It's going to be specific subsets of the location where they're going to actively work on finishing here and then there and then there and then there kind of thing. So it's going to be a complete transit. But what makes this really cool is for years, one of the biggest complaints about Columbus has been its lack of robust public transportation. Compared to cities like Chicago, New York, and yeah, even Cincinnati, let me tell you this, Columbus's transit system is limited, relying primarily on COTA's buses with no rail or no rapid transit. That's all about to change with the LinkUS Mobility Initiative, a citywide $8 billion initiative aimed at completely overhauling the public transit network. And hey, listen, you might be asking, why does this matter in 2025 and what's actually happening in 2025? Great question. I got you. A few cool things are actually being apparently done. Number one is going to be the fact that the bus rapid transit or the BRT lanes are actively being worked on. The first phases include dedicated BRT corridors with new stations running in high demanded areas like, well, Broad Street, Olentangy's River Road, and High Street as well. These will feature faster buses, fewer stops, and real-time tracking, more like a subway or wheels than just a traditional bus model as we know it. Combining with this, some other cool projects as well. They're also expanding bike and, well, pedestrian pathways as we speak. Some cool things is Columbus is also doubling down on bike lanes and making it so that we can reduce congestions as a whole and make the city more walkable. And the last and final thing happening in 2025 is this. Well, the Parks and Rides Hub. To ease traffic for commuters, new parks and ride facilities will allow residents to park outside the city and take express BRT lanes into downtown. And you might be asking yourself, Gagan, why does this matter? Well, my shirt should tell you. Community. On a big one. You see, Columbus is growing faster than ever. In 2023 and 2024, and probably 2025, it is going to be one of the most relocated cities in the world. People are actively buying real estate. Multi-billion and trillion-dollar companies are actively calling this home. Meaning for you, it's going to get crowded. And the last thing that we want is gridlock where you can't go anywhere, right? That would suck. That's the whole idea behind this. Columbus is projected to grow by 1 million people in the next 2 decades. Whoa. Obviously, without major transportation improvements, the city risks becoming gridlocked. LinkUS is designed to handle that growth, making Columbus a leader in smart, sustainable urban mobility. Listen, I'll tell you this much. People think that Columbus is kind of boring. With what's coming up now, I promise you, you won't think that anymore. Because the Scoto Peninsula development is absolutely crazy. $250 million happening in West downtown. Yeah, this is gonna be kind of cool. So you might be asking yourself, what's actually happening? Let's talk about it. Just across the river from downtown, the Scoto Peninsula is being transformed into Columbus's next major entertainment, residential, and cultural hub. Developers are calling this project the missing puzzle piece between downtown and Franklinton's, an area that's, rapidly being gentrifying over the past few years. And let me tell you, when you're gonna ask me, hey, Gagan, what's actually coming and what's gonna be apparent here? There's so many amazing things that we're gonna discuss it all. There's so many cool things. Like first and foremost, we're gonna have more and more housing. There's gonna be a bunch of new high-rises. The development will feature new residential towers, office spaces, and a hotel, creating a vibrant live, work, and play environment. On top of all these things, let me tell you, the cultural expansion is also like none other. One of the big things is the Columbus Museum of Art and COSI will both be seeing expansions alongside the new public art installation and outdoors performance venue. And on top of all these things, we need one more thing. Can you guess what that is? Green spaces, baby. Not just for ourselves, but also our pets and our children. And that's exactly what's coming. You see, expected additional parks and riverview extensions as well, enhancing the Scoto Mile's already stunning riverfront. You see, the project is revitalizing an underutilized part of the city, and over the next 5 years, we're definitely going to see this absolutely grow. Listen, my investor friends, if you're looking for something, this might be the place for you. You know, I think I've mentioned to all of you guys that my dad and I, our favorite pastime activity has always been playing soccer, or as we call it, football. And you know, soccer, especially because we are of Desi descent, is a massive conversational piece. We love talking about soccer, we love playing about soccer, we love thinking about soccer. And let me tell you, Columbus, especially with the soccer projects that we've got going on, well, it's a great place if that's you too. Let's talk about what's going on. Well, first and foremost, the Columbus Crew Stadium expansion and the World Cup of 2026 preparations are all happening here. And one of the key things that we got to talk about is this is happening in Lowers Field. With over $100 million in already investments and completion goals of 2025 mid-parts throughout that, this is going to definitely have a lot of interference, especially with people that like sports as a whole. So what's actually happening? Well, since opening in 2021, Lowers Field has already become one of the best soccer stadiums in the US. But with Columbus potentially hosting training camps and events for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, the crew and city officials are expanding the stadium's seating, VIP areas, and training facilities as a whole. Now, I know you're probably asking, hey, Gagan, what's actually coming to this location? Well, I got great news for you. First and foremost, you can now bring both your wife and your girlfriend and everyone else to the stadium. Don't get mad at me, I'm just kidding. 5,000 new seats are actually being built here, which means that, well, more people can come and watch this amazing sport. Combining with this, you've also got enhanced fan experience with bigger jumbotrons, improved concourses, and state-of-the-art hospitality suites. With also all of these things, there's going to be new training suites for the entire team, especially as they prepare for the 2026 World Cup. Columbus, as simply as we can put it, is proving it's a true soccer city, maybe even a world-class soccer city. All right, you ready to talk about the most controversial thing happening in the entire city? And the Intel project might never happen. Yeah, I'm sorry. I said it. Let's talk about it. You see, New Albany was potentially poised to grow by $20 billion and more, with Intel's semiconductor manufacturing chip being built here.
So we learned that Intel is delaying its plans to open the new semiconductor plant in New Albany to at least 2030 rather, at the earliest.
A massive, grandiose project that was reliant on the CHIPS Act, which they've already got about $2 billion of their $7 billion in funds from Ohio incentives and also federal funding. That might not ever happen. You see, with completion goals of 2025 now being pushed back to 2031, with 5,000 added new jobs that potentially may never happen, I mean, this is something that we have to speak about. Let's talk about it. Intel is building the largest semiconductor manufacturing plant in the US, right outside Columbus, dubbed as the Silicon Heartland. This $20 billion project will establish Ohio as a leader in advanced chip production, a critical industry for national security and technology. But what's actually coming in 2025? Well, what was supposed to come was the first production lines, the first semiconductor fabrication plants, or fabs, should have began operating and supplying high-tech chips for everything like iPhone to electric cars. We were supposed to see a massive boom of job growth as well. And you've got to understand, some of these plants are actively being worked on and they are available. But Intel, especially with the stock pricing absolutely dropping last year, I mean, this might not ever happen. And you see, combining with this as well, there's two different levels of thoughts that I'm going to go pretty impromptu with here. And number one, the Taiwan Semiconducting Company, or TSMC, could potentially, come to Columbus and make this their home as well. They have agreed to invest around $170 billion into the United States economy over the next few years. Who knows? Maybe they'll just buy this outright, and maybe, well, they might look at Columbus as a place and actually invest. And the second thing is, well, Intel is losing the AI chip race to other companies like NVIDIA and just that specific demographic of companies. Combining with that, what we might see is more companies outside of Intel actually purchase the plant itself and use that for their own purposes. We don't know though, and that's the biggest, it's such a big conversational piece in Columbus, because we just literally don't know. And a lot of people think this project is never going to happen. There are people that say it is going to happen. There's people that say they're still working on it. It's completely up in the air. And it's just people, it's, you know what I mean? It's just completely up in the air. So I don't know. I'm still going to have this here because I hope to God that it does complete, because I think this would be really, really cool. But also if it doesn't, I'm never going to hold my breath and get my hopes too high up. But you know what, let's speak a little bit happier and talk about what projects we absolutely know are coming. And this is going to be, well, the Innovation District. Located at OSU, or Ohio State University, with over $1 billion already invested in completion goals around 2025 and 2026, we are going to see an absolute massive growth here like none other. So what's actually happening? Well, the Ohio State Nationwide Children's Hospital and the city of Columbus are partnering to create one of the largest innovation districts in the Midwest, a cutting-edge hub for medical research, artificial intelligence, and biotechnology as well. So what's coming in 2025, and why do I even have this on the list? Well, we've got three big things that are coming here. Number one is going to be the new medical research facilities. Columbus is positioning itself as a leader in cancer, genetics, and neurology research. The next thing is going to be AI and tech startups. One of the big things here is expect hundreds of new startups focusing on robotics, AI, and sustainability. And then combining with this, we're also going to see more and more growth happening here as more and more investors are looking at these options and saying, hey, this is the location that I want to live in, and these are the opportunities that I absolutely see happening. I am a huge fan of anything that's healthcare and technology related. If we can absolutely sustain a location for health to, well, fundamentally make medicine cheaper, more sustainable, and just better in the long run, that's exactly what I personally want. You know what, last but definitely not least, I've actually got two. I'm going to give you a secret one in a second. But the Hyperloop discussion, the future of high-speed travel. Whoa. Where is this going to be built? Potentially from Chicago to Columbus. How much money? $100 billion. Expected completion dates? We don't know. But I will tell you this, feasibility studies have gone up in 2025, and they are potentially making this a focus.
The WACA and the Cleveland Foundation into a Hyperloop feasibility study. They wanted to see if building a Hyperloop that could transport people from Cleveland to Chicago in just 27 minutes was well, feasible.
Columbus is actively discussing Hyperloop technology, a high-speed transit system that could cut travel time from Chicago to Columbus down to under an hour. Feasibility studies are underway with state and federal backing potentially on the horizon. If this happens, two absolutely massive things are going to happen. Number one is going to be the fastest mode of transportation in the United States based off of land. And number two, it will position Columbus as an absolute leader for next-gen technology, especially with travel. But hey, we don't know what's happening with this. We're going to check out the feasibility studies, and I promise you I'll keep you updated with every single project as well. Let's talk about the final one, and obviously this is just a bonus of sorts, and that's going to be the John Glenn International Airport. Over $2 billion have already gone into this project, with phase one completed by 2025 and the whole shebang being completed by 2028. They're going to work in the specific wing in the airport there. This is the largest airport investment in all of Ohio's history. With Columbus booming and projected to hit 3 million residents by 2050, airport officials have been pushing for world-class facilities that can handle the surge in travelers, business professionals, and international flights. Projects have been in the works for years, and 2025 marks a critical and awesome milestone. The first phase of the expansion project is actually going to open, bringing more gates, better passenger amenities, and increased flight capacities. And there are 4 things that are coming alongside this, especially in 2025 and as the years go on. Listen, if you're with me so far, can you like the video or comment which project you're more excited about? I know we're talking so much about this project here, but let me tell you, Columbus is absolutely booming, and that's why my energy is so high up. If you're thinking about moving to Columbus, Ohio, give us a call, shoot us a text. Yes, I am talking to you right there. I'm pointing at you, talking to you. Come to Columbus. It's the place to be. But let's finish the topic about the actual airport. Man, ADHD's to the walls today. New state-of-the-art terminal is coming. A brand new terminal will replace the current outdated facilities featuring high ceilings, modern glass architecture, expanded seatings, and better dining and retail options. The second thing that's coming, and this is really, really cool, is more international flights. We're gonna see more direct international flights, especially to Europe, Canada, and Latin America. Officials have now confirmed discussions with British Airways and Air Canada about possibly having direct routes to London and Toronto. The third thing is going to be better parking and transportational access. One of the big things that we got to talk about here will reduce congestion and make a more smoother option for travel, with dedicated lanes for ride shares and electric vehicle charging stations as well. And last but definitely not least is sustainability upgrades as well. The airport is invested in solar energy, electrical ground vehicles, and eco-friendly jet fuel initiatives to meet new federal sustainability goals. I don't need to explain to you why this is amazing. More travel, better sustainability. We're gonna have more people coming here. That means more money to be spent in Columbus. That means more projects to grow as well. It really is a cyclical thing. And listen, if you are thinking about making a move to Columbus, Ohio, I did an entire video on the pros and cons of living here. I was completely honest, zero filtered opinion. I'm gonna put that video right here. Watch it, and I'll see you soon. Peace.